कृष्ण प्राप्ति हो कृष्ण प्राप्ति कृष्ण प्राप्ति गुरुमुख्या पद्मावाक्या चित्त कोरिया क्या गुरु नावाक्या और ना कोरिया मन आशा ना और ना कोरियो मन आशा श्री गुरु चरण रति ऐसे उत्तम गति श्री गुरु चरण रति उत्तम गति ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा चकदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञानी हृदय प्रकाशितो भक्ति जाए होते अविद्या विनाश जाते पेदागा जहर चरितो वेदागा जहर चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनर बंधु लुकना लुकर जीवना लुकना लुकर जीवना शिला प्रभुपाद पतित पवना आह प्रभु को रोया देह मोर पदाचाया ए बेजाज घुसुक त्रिभुवाना शीला प्रभुपाद पतित पवना जोय पद लो चरना जया प्रभुपदा 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 जय प्रभुपदा जय पतित पवनशील प्रभुपदा पतित पवनशील प्रभुपदा जय जगद्गुरु शील प्रभुपदा जगद्गुरु शील प्रभुपदा जय जय प्रभुपद प्रभुपद Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishaya Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasita Deshatarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitya Guru Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitya Guru Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo, Srila Prabhupada ki. Jayam Vishnu Padaya Param Saparava Jaskaya Stokara. His Divine Loving Grace Abhay Charana Arvind Swami Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai. ISKCON Samasapakacharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayam Vishnu Padaya Param Saparava Jaskaya Stokara Satsidman. His Divine Loving Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासुदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जाए अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जाए नामच्चर हरिदास ठाकुर की जाए श्री सत गोस्वामी की जाए श्री पंचतत्व की जाए श्री निताय गौर सुंदर की जाए देर लॉर्डशिप श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जाए देर लॉर्डशिप श्री राधा राधानाथ गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राध कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जाए श्री मायापुर धाम की जाए श्री मथुरा धाम की जाए गोलोक वृंदावन धाम की जाए श्री नवदीप धाम की जाए नीलाचल जगन्नाथ पुरी धाम की जाए our eternal spiritual masters divine loving grace Srila Prabhupada की जाए Srila Prabhupada's transcendental book distribution की जाए Srila Prabhupada's transcendental book distribution की जाए श्रीमद् भागवत पुराण की जाए कंतरा श्रीमद् भगवत गीता जयतीज की जाए श्री लक्ष्मी नृसिंहदेव भगवान की जाए भक्त प्रहलाद महाराज की जाए तुलसी देव भक्ति देवी की जाए गंगा माई यमुना माई की जाए Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to the Lord Sri Guru and Sri Gaunita. Go Premanande Hari Bo.
Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Praladadayini. Praladadayini. Hiranyakashipu Vakshahai. Sila Tankana Thala He Sila Tankana Thala Hito Nasimho Parato Nasimho Hito Nasimho Parato Nasimho Yato Yato Yamita To Nasimho Yato Yato Yamita To Nasimho By hand Simho, Hriday hand Simho. Narasimhamadin sadanan prapade. Narasimhamadin sadanan prapade. Tava kara kamula vare nakanat bhutta singha. Dalita hiranyakashipu tanavringa. Keshabadita narahari rupa. Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare. Tavaka. Keshabadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshabadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nrsingadev 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 Jaya Nrsingadev Jaya Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya. Shri Bhakti Vignas Vinashakna Shingare Bhagavani ki jai. Shri Bhakta Shreshtha Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gopavinande. Hare Krishna. So welcome to our Sunday Love Feast program. We are in the most auspicious month. What month is this? Krishna Astami? Anybody else? Gita month? Anyone else? Sharvan month? Anyone else? Prabhupada's appearance day? Anything else? We forgot it's Women's Month actually. So that means all the women have to work actually. Anyway, so there's many auspicious things in this month, and today we have His Grace Jagannath Puri Prabhu. Without further ado, he's going to start us in Bhagavad Gita chapter 10 today, and we will try and do 11 and 12 over the next few weeks. And during the Gita week, we'll actually go through the whole of Bhagavad Gita again, but hopefully this time we're going to add some stories to it actually. So hopefully it'll be more exciting. So His Grace Jagannath Puri Prabhu. You can clap.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manubhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuveva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So a very warm and wonderful welcome to all of you to this Love Feast celebration that we have every Sunday. It's our open house. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness gives you a peek, a privileged view to see, to get a glimpse of what the spiritual world is all about. We just get some idea, and we come as guests. We don't know much. We are curious, and we are intrigued, and we want to learn and know. So when we come to the mandir on occasions like this, then expect something. Because Krishna's reciprocation is to transform our hearts. That's Krishna's reciprocation. So you're just going to make the endeavor to come, and then Krishna does some magical stuff. He's Yogeshwar, right? He does some magical stuff thereafter. So talking of magic, we're going to today be discussing chapter 10. Chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita is entitled The Opulence of the Absolute. Right? The opulence of the Absolute. And in this chapter, Krishna speaks about his glories. It begins in quite dramatic and interesting fashion. In the very first verse, and just now we'll ask them to. We've already started projecting the verses on the board, but we'll go through the verses just now. So right now, you'll see that the very first shloka is saying, read it out. Can somebody read for everyone? Yeah, Prabhu, go for it.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Listen again, Almighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained."
This is amazing. Chapter 9 is entitled, The Most Confidential Knowledge. These chapters have been given by, the titles have been given by, given by Srila Vyasadeva. Right? Krishna doesn't say, okay, now Arjuna, listen, I'm going to speak chapter 3. It's just Krishna is conversing continuously with Arjuna. The acharyas, starting from Srila Vyasadeva, they have put them thematically in different categories to make it easy for us to understand. So chapter 9 is entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge, and chapter 9 ends with the summit, the Everest of all spiritual knowledge, the peak, and that is 934. Janma karma chame divya. Alam manmana bhava mad bhakto. Okay? So that's it. Become my devotee, worship me, offer your obeisance to me. That basically Krishna says, become my devotee. That's the message. That's how chapter 9 ends. 934. So now, moving on from 934, the next word that Krishna speaks is the shloka. And he is saying, listen now, Arjuna, I'm going to tell you something that I have not told you before, and something that's better than what I've already told you. What could be better than already him speaking about the most confidential knowledge? This is a very intriguing point. The Acharyas say chapter 9 is the most confidential knowledge, but Krishna says, I'm going to tell you something that's even better now in chapter 10. And the Acharyas don't say this is the most confidential. Yeah? So this is how chapter 10 starts, in quite an interesting fashion. And the reasons for this will become apparent as we go along. And chapter 10 ends with Krishna saying that everything in this universe is sustained and pervaded by me. And that prompts Arjuna to say, Krishna, I'd love to see that form by which you pervade this entire universe. And that's how chapter 11 manifests, which is called the universal form. So now you get the link between chapter 9 and chapter 11. And chapter 10 is in between, positioned, where it is this Krishna himself reveals the opulences, his own opulences. The opulence, Prabhupada very interestingly also uses the English title, the opulences of the Absolute. In Sanskrit, the title is Vibhuti Yoga. That word Vibhuti doesn't just mean opulences, it means extraordinary opulences. That's what Vibhuti itself means. So Vibhuti Yoga. And in this chapter, some 82 different Vibhutis are revealed by Krishna in this chapter. And there are 42 verses. Thematically, we will divide this chapter into 4 sections. Right? The first 7 shlokas deal with Krishna glorifying the knowledge that he is speaking. Krishna is glorifying them. The first 7 shlokas, starting with this. And you see in here, he's saying, I'm going to speak something even better than what I've already told you. So Krishna is already preparing us for something special. Okay. After the first 7 shlokas, then comes something quite extraordinary. Maybe we can close the back door. It'll just prevent. Okay, then we have the next section is 8, 9, 10, and 11. These 4 verses are known as the Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita. They are the 4 seed verses that were originally spoken by Krishna. And these are the shlokas Krishna speaks whenever he manifests himself in different millennia. Remember at the beginning of the 4th chapter, Krishna says that I had spoken this to whom? The sun god. Yes. Imam vivishvate yogam proktavam aham avyayam. Right? And this, so what did he speak? He spoke these 4 Chaturshloki verses, the 4 seed verses from which the entire Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita expands and reveals itself. So that will be the second theme we'll discuss. The third theme is thereafter from text number 12 to 18. Text number 12 to 18, those 7 verses are spoken by Arjuna. It's very important to get like a global picture on the structure and how this chapter is formulated. Okay? So there, Arjuna initially responds in the first 4 verses. Arjuna is responding to what Krishna has said. And then in the last 3 verses of that chapter, of Arjuna's speaking contribution, he asks some specific questions. And then from number 19 to 42, Krishna continues firstly answering those questions and continues speaking about his various vibhutis. Okay, so these are the 4 themes that we will cover today. Everybody awake? Prabhuji, still awake? Okay, good. All right. So now, could we have the first verse up? First slok up, and you can read it again, Prabhuji. The translation, just the translation, not the Sanskrit. Text 1. Read it.
It's coming.
Sorry?
It's coming.
Oh, it's
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit I shall speak to you further, give you knowledge that is better than what I have already explained."
So now I would like you to think of an analogy. Let's say you have a very intimate friend. But after some time, it becomes revealed to you that this intimate friend is a billionaire. Did any of you meet any billionaires in your life? And imagine if such a person was your intimate friend already, but you have now got to hear some years later that, oh, my friend's a billionaire. So what happens? Your appreciation of your friend and their contributions, what they do, how they do things, gets enhanced. It increases multifold. Isn't it true? If he's your friend already, you're not talking about just people you know from the newspapers. He's already your intimate friend. So the intimacy and the friendship, that relationship will get even more deeper. So, won't you yourself feel very fortunate or even more fortunate to know somebody like that? Isn't it true? Won't you be thrilled to announce, hey, this is my friend, I know so and so. Because they're already your friend. Remember this. You become more connected. In the same way, as we learn about Krishna's opulences, and I just gave one example to understand this concept. As we learn about Krishna's opulences, our appreciation and gratitude is enhanced multifold times. But something amazing happens thereafter. The amazing thing with Krishna, learning about Krishna's opulences, is that it increases our devotion. This is the benediction of chapter 11. In chapter 10. In chapter 9, the goal is established of devotion. Devotion is the ultimate goal, and that's why it's the most confidential knowledge. But in chapter 10, how to intensify our devotion, the process, the tools, the strategy is now revealed by Krishna himself. And the first aspect of this strategy is to hear about Krishna's glories. Hearing Krishna's glories automatically puts us in a position where we want to surrender to him. And the result of surrendering to Krishna, because he is so great, is that we want to now worship him. And you want to render loving service to him. So all those things happen sequentially. But the secret is that we have to hear about Krishna's glories. Let's read number 2. Read the shloka. Okay. Oh, you tell me. What's your good name?
Arjuna.
Arjuna. Okay. Wow. We got Arjuna reading Bhagavad Gita. You bless Prabhuji. And Krishna is speaking and Arjuna is relating to us. Well done, Arjun. You know what your name means? What does Arjun mean?
It means silver, something like that. Silver warrior.
Inkul. It means one of stainless character. Stainless. I mean, character is beyond any blemish. That's what Arjuna means. Okay, go for it, Arjun.
Neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences. For in every respect, I am the source of the demigods and sages.
Okay. To grasp this verse, we have to hear carefully what Krishna is saying. That which is created cannot independently know its source. That which is created cannot independently know its source. Let's take an example, like your children. They don't know exactly where they came from. But because you saw them right from the very first moment of their lives, you know where they came from. They were born, and you know who the mother and who the father, all those things. So this is the principle. That which is created cannot independently know its source. So Krishna here is establishing that all these created beings on their own cannot know the source. But I have no source. I'm the source of everything. And therefore I know everything. And therefore I am the ultimate authority on this subject matter. You see, knowledge of Krishna and Krishna are both on the absolute platform. And therefore knowledge of Krishna is non-different from Krishna himself. Very, very crucial point to internalize. So this is transcendental subject matter now. It's no longer material. And therefore, you may have very smart people. And you yourself may have fallen into this category before you joined the Hare Krishna movement. Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Shri Shri Ntai Gaur Sundar ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, the limit of our mental faculties is to know that there may be a God, there may be a supreme power, there may be some very intelligent design behind the universe. But that's the limit of one's mental faculties. through logic, through reason, through debate, through experiences, all these things. But that is only giving some glimpse of the Brahman aspect of God. You're not even touching on the Paramatma aspect of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Let alone getting to the pinnacle, which is Bhagavan. So to get access to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we have to hear from God Himself, from Krishna Himself. You have to hear from a person who is the source of it all. And this knowledge is transmitted in a pure form by Krishna's devotees. So whether you hear from Krishna, because the knowledge is absolute, or hearing from Krishna's devotees, it's one and the same. Right? We're hearing from Arjuna, it's the same as we're hearing from Krishna. Thank you, Arjun. So let's read 3. Okay. Please make sure you get that point before we go forward. If not, listen to this class again and make some notes, because this is critical to our own advancement.
He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only undiluted among men is freed from all sins.
Now, in order to get knowledge, to get access to this knowledge of Krishna, one must be pure. Without being pure, you cannot get this knowledge. This knowledge will just appear as, oh yeah, some information. It'll just appear theoretical. It'll appear, oh yeah. And then you'll have some doubt, and you'll have some questions, and you'll never be truly convinced. It won't be established in the heart as an irrevocable fact. So that purification process is critical. And how we become pure is through the rendition of devotional service. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4 and 5, Prabhu, you can read.
Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame and infamy, all the various qualities of the living beings are created by me alone.
Okay, got that? Created by who? And in conjunction with you and others? Nope. Created by Krishna alone. Krishna alone is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No equal, no superior. So Krishna is the source of everything. Every single thing that we perceive. And understanding that Krishna is the source. This entire chapter drills this point home. Over and over and over again. That Krishna is the original source of everything. Of this, there should be no doubt. Of this, you and I need to continually convince ourselves that this is the de facto position. And when we come to that understanding, then we become free from all sin. Just by having this understanding. That's what freedom, and that's automatically on the realm of moksha. No more birth. Once you're free from sin, it means you're liberated from the cycle of birth and death. Yep. Let's go to 6.
The 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages, and the Manas, progenitors of mankind, come from me, born from my mind, and all the living beings populating the various planets descend from them.
Again, Krishna is highlighting that yes, you may think you come from your father, and your father may think he comes from his grandfather, and ultimately go back to the original progenitors of mankind, of humankind. All the different species have their source. But Krishna is saying, but that I'm the forefather of the forefathers. I am ultimately the source of everything. Because some people think, we came from Brahma. Brahma is the first created being, so we came from Brahma. And Brahma is known as that as well. Through him, different types of living entities manifest, different types of bodies and so on come into existence. But here, Krishna is reminding us that I am the source. It starts from me. That's where it is. Anybody disputes this? Anybody thinks that Krishna is lying to us, is fibbing? Everybody thinks that this is some kind of exaggeration? Anybody thinks that? No. And we'll hear why you shouldn't think that a little later. So that's number 6. In fact, what Krishna is saying here, and putting it another way, right? If anyone wants to know me, here I am. Krishna is revealing that if you want to know me, approach me. That's it. Just approach me. I'm accessible. I'm available. Don't speculate. Don't let your mind play tricks with you. Don't listen to all nonsense commentators, word jugglery, and all such things. Don't get deluded by these things. Come to me. Come to me. That's what Krishna is saying. Okay, number 7.
One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mine engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt.
Got it? Krishna is hammering the point again. He's speaking of one opulence, of this opulence. What is that opulence? That I am the source of all that be. Okay? And this leads into the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. See how nicely it just leads into text number 8. The text number 8. Srila Prabhupada says, and it's in the purport of this shloka, that a lot of people will tell you God is great. But that's not good enough. You have to know how he is great. What is it that makes him great? Because knowing that information of what is the opulences of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, we have to hear repeatedly about the Lord's glories. The entire Shrimad Bhagavatam is only filled with descriptions of the Lord's glories and the glories of the Lord's devotees because they are connected to him. The devotees of the Lord are only glorious because of their connection to him. Otherwise, they're nothing. Any living entity disconnected from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no matter who or what they may achieve, is doomed for ignominy. I mean, they're just going to end up in the rubbish dumps and they'll be soon forgotten. Very soon. I mean, yesterday I was at a memorial function. And at that time I was trying to remember, because part of that function was that they were offering pinda, oblations, to the forefathers. Now, it's a very close-knit family members were only present at that function, and everyone remembered the names of the parents who passed away, and maybe half of them remembered the names of the grandparents, and no one knew the names of the great-grandparents, which the priest was asking for at their function. Just imagine. Just the grandparents' name. Do you know the names of your great-grandparents? Ask yourself. We're also in that category. I don't remember. I mean, I know some, but I don't remember my mother's side or my father's side. So this is it. But we know the names of all our acharyas. We know the names of so many devotees who were in existence for so long and lived. Lord Ramachandra, Vishwamitra were living, millions of years ago. So this is it. The glories of Krishna and his devotees are eternal. Okay, Prabhuji. Now we're going to go into the Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita. These are 4 seed verses, the key verses. In one sense, this is the most important verses in Bhagavad Gita also, as a group, because from this everything else expands. Okay.
I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Okay? I'm the source of everything, not just the source of what you see, what you perceive. I'm also the source, Krishna says, of the entire spiritual realm. I'm the source of every single thing that is spiritual. This is what makes Krishna the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's a big difference between God and Supreme Personality of Godhead and original Supreme Personality of Godhead. This shloka is called the Swayam Bhagavan Shloka. Swayam Bhagavan Shloka. Because it establishes Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah? Without a shadow of doubt. It's emphatic, it's bold, it's clear. There's no ambiguity about this statement. Krishna is presenting it to us straight off the bat, telling it as it is. So why should we have any doubt? Do you have a contestation? Do you have an argument that can counter what Krishna is saying? If you don't, then you have to accept it. Isn't it true? And accepting it. And accepting doesn't mean blindly accepting it. We'll hear just now how to accept it.
The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
See, Krishna's greatness, like we gave one example at the beginning of this class about the billionaire example, right? That means wealth. But Krishna's greatness is in all his opulences. Like all his opulences spotlights Krishna's greatness. Although Krishna is great in many, many respects, but these opulences spotlights the greatness. And by seeing this greatness, we naturally surrender. We naturally feel, oh, wow, this is where we come from. This is our Lord. This is our source. So naturally they surrender. And then the result of the surrender is an ever-increasing desire to wanting to serve him. And that ever-increasing desire is with all the hearts. That's bhava. That's love. Because when you serve with all your heart, you are serving with love and devotion. Not lust and commotion, it's love and devotion. Okay, so now in text number 9, we are starting to see and get an idea of who the pure devotees are and what do they do. Who are these pure devotees that everybody speaks about? That Krishna, Krishna's entourage is only full of pure devotees. The entire spiritual world is only made up of pure devotees. So here we get a glimpse of who they are, recognizing them by their symptoms. What do pure devotees do? Yeah, but what this verse is saying specifically. Read what this verse is saying. Repeat it, Prabhu. The same verse. But the wrong verse. Go to 9. 9, Prabhu, do it.
The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
Correct? Krishna is the life and soul of the devotees. Without Krishna, these devotees cannot sustain their lives. We see this in the topmost devotees. When they are separated from Krishna, they are barely existing. They care about nothing else than just the opportunity to be connected with Krishna. That's all they're hankering for. With every breath, Krishna is the oxygen in the lives of the pure devotees. Without Krishna, they can't breathe. Okay, now we're going to go into text number 10 and 11, which are showing Krishna's reciprocation with his devotees. First we heard who Krishna is in text 8. Then we see about the pure devotees in text 9. And 10 and 11 is Krishna's reciprocation with his devotees. Very sweet and very wonderful to hear.
To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me.
So here, Krishna does something extraordinary. Krishna personally enters the hearts of such living entities. Imagine that. And not just the super soul, the Paramatma is always inactive, is a silent witness. It's the Paramatma, the four-handed form of Vishnu that is present in every living entity. But when Krishna enters the heart of a particular living entity, then this process is no longer one of being a silent witness. Now it's ongoing reciprocation. It's very active. Krishna is having it's a complete paradigm shift in the consciousness of such living entities. Okay, text number 11.
To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance.
Now you see how Krishna reciprocates. Very, very, very unique way in which Krishna reciprocates. You see, the living entity since time immemorial has their hearts covered by thick, caked up grime of material conditioning. The symptoms of this conditioning is very simple. We hanker for objects other than Krishna. Whenever we are desiring objects other than Krishna, we have to understand that that is a consequence of anadhi karma. Anadhi means endless. Endless karma. Karma that is so bad, that is so much, that we got no hope of ever on our own steam being able to get rid of it. No chance. Zero chance of doing it on your own. You may be able to move a little bit, couple pieces of grime and dirt, but to get rid of it in entirety. So now what Krishna does here, and I want to read how Krishna does this. I'm going to paraphrase what Krishna is saying, right? So Krishna says, in my transcendental personal form, I reveal my qualities. And with the shining light of knowledge of these qualities, I destroy the darkness of ignorance. The gift of transcendental knowledge is how Krishna reciprocates with his devotees' loving service. Remember what I said? This transcendental knowledge is non-different from Krishna. But specifically, Krishna's reciprocation is with this knowledge. Now why? Why specifically? Prabhuji, stay with us. Just focus, stay with us, please. So why Krishna says this? This gift of transcendental knowledge increases the desire to render devotional service and intensifies our devotion for the Lord. This is what it is. This is what Krishna is awarding us in chapter 11. The ever increasing concentration of devotion. Okay, so we have now covered Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita, the second theme, right, in summary. Let us now go into the third theme. And here, in this theme, you have Arjuna speaking, 7 verses. It's very interesting to note that the last time Arjuna spoke was in chapter 8 in Bhagavad Gita, in text number 2. So Arjuna doesn't speak after that. The rest of chapter 8, he says nothing. The entire chapter 9, he says nothing. And now, in chapter 10, from text 12 to 18, Arjuna speaks. So I only want you to read the 13 and 12 and 13, right? Just those two. And then we'll stop there for now. Go on.
Arjuna said, "You are the supreme personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita,
Devala, Narada, Vyas. Oh, it's still not up. Okay.
Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me."
Right. So, let's go back to chapter 8, text number 2. Because remember, Krishna is still answering those questions. To understand Krishna's answers in Bhagavad Gita, you got to know Arjuna's questions. So if you don't know what Arjuna asked, you will not have the right context of Krishna's answers. So in chapter 8, text number 2, Arjuna asks 3 things actually. He says, who is the Lord of sacrifice and how does he live in this body? Who is the Lord of sacrifice and how does he live in this body? And how does one who is engaged in devotional service know you, O Madhusudana, at the time of death? Right? These are the 3 questions that Arjuna asks in text number 2. So from then till now, Krishna is answering those questions. Okay? So now Arjuna is speaking, right? So now Arjuna speaks, he's responding to Krishna. And in his response to Krishna, he is saying, Krishna, you are declaring that you are the source of everything. I've heard this before from other great sadhus, great sages. It is not something that I'm making up because, I want to flatter you. Arjuna and Krishna are not in this relationship of just rubbing each other's back and propping them up, boosting their egos. But Arjuna is saying, yes, Krishna, I agree with what you have just said. You have revealed this information to me, but I have previously heard this from bona fide authorities. And he quotes the names of those authorities, like Narad Muni, like Vyasadev. Asita and Devala were great munis in the time. So it's nothing new. But the scriptures are also endorsing it. And for us, Mahaprabhu has said this. Srila Prabhupada is saying it. Arjuna is saying it. All the great Vaishnavas, all our acharyas are saying it. So therefore there is no doubt about this information. They are not saying and giving a different version. They are not countering it and giving a different version. They are establishing it. More and more prominently in the consciousness of the living entity, because Arjuna is representing the conditioned soul. You will hear just now how Arjuna is a pure devotee. Okay? We will quote in 16 to 18, in Arjuna asks the questions. He says, how do you, Krishna, pervade the worlds in 16? How do you pervade the worlds? In 17, how does one constantly think of you? How to constantly think of you. But remember, that's the ultimate principle in spiritual life. Remember Krishna and never forget him. So Arjuna asked a very relevant question, how to think of him. And then he says, in what forms are you to be remembered? That's it, 3 questions. But how he asks those 3 questions is very interesting to note also. Let's read it exactly. In 16 to 18. These sessions are wonderful. And I want to compliment our management to to speak on Bhagavad Gita one chapter per Sunday. Because it helps us to focus more deeply on the subject matter at hand. It encourages everyone to prepare for the class because you know what we're going to cover, what is to be covered. You're going to read about it, and in your own minds, you'll formulate your own questions and queries and doubts, and you are free to ask them at this time. So this is such a wonderful program. I really am so happy that the temples are doing this now. And it can be an eternal program. It can just go on in rotation. You'll never come to an end to this. Yet each time there's so much material to cover. And the realizations of the devotees will be so wonderful for us. They help us. They change our perspectives and help us to see things that we never saw before. Okay, so now we're reading from 16. So Arjuna says, please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. Please tell me in detail. Arjuna and Krishna is thinking in his mind, Arjuna, really? Must I tell you this in detail? I mean, don't you know there's a war here where the conches and bugles have blown to signal the start of the war, and you want me to tell you in detail? Don't you know that great personalities, like Ananta Shesh, since time immemorial for zillions of years are trying, and they are continually chanting my glories, and they have not even touched a fraction of the amount? And you want me to tell you about my glories in detail? Oh my word. Krishna thinks, oh Arjuna, are you serious? Get a life, Arjuna. Okay. And then in 17, O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you, and how shall I remember you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? O Janardhan, again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. This verse, okay, firstly Arjuna says, again, that means he recognizes that Krishna spoke about his own glories before. Where did Krishna speak about his own glories previously? Chapter 7, knowledge of the Absolute. The whole chapter is about Krishna's glories. Okay? So Krishna spoke about his glories in chapter 7, and Arjuna recognized that Krishna spoke about it. And now Arjuna is saying, please Krishna, tell me again, and tell me in detail, because I never tire to hear. This is a symptom of the pure devotee, and Krishna mentions who is the pure devotee in the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. That's all they do. That's all they're eager to do. And this verse reveals, like Prabhupada said, Arjuna is a pure devotee. And there are many such evidence to show that Arjuna is a pure devotee. But here is one glaring evidence that demonstrates Arjuna to be a pure devotee. And here Arjuna is praying to Krishna. Krishna, I want to hear your glories. I want to think of you. I want to remember you, Krishna. Without Krishna's intervention, Krishna is unknowable. Nobody can know Krishna. Nobody can know Krishna without Krishna's intervention. And here we're seeing another characteristic of a pure devotee. Love, greediness, despite the external circumstances taking place, he's saying, no, oh, Krishna, don't stop. Tell me more. Because by hearing from you, I can remember more, and I become more drawn towards you, more attached to you, and my devotion becomes more condensed. I have that opportunity. Okay. So now, the last part, so that finishes off Arjuna's responses and Arjuna's questions. The last part is Krishna's answers to Arjuna. He's continuing those answers, and it's beautiful. The first word in number 9 is hanta. In 19 is hanta. And Krishna is, hanta means, oh yes, Arjuna, I will answer your questions. But it's answered with tenderness. That meaning of the word hanta is with tenderness. You see that in the shloka. Okay, I'm giving you some snippets so you can be intrigued. And you go back to open Bhagavad Gita and read them and get these things out. Extract the jewels. Extract the tasty fruit that is full everywhere. So Krishna says, my opulences are unlimited, Arjuna. I'm only going to discuss with you and reveal a few which are prominent. Right? That's how he starts. And towards the end, in 41 of this chapter, Krishna mentions that it is not just what you recognize as prominent opulences that I am the source of, but actually everything. I'm the source of everything that you perceive and everything that is outside your sense perception. That's 41. And in the final verse, he is saying that this is just but a fragment of my power. This is just but a fraction, a spark of my power. This chapter 10 is discussing what's the title of the chapter? Opulences. Come, people. You have to be sharp now. You have to get it right. Because this information is for you to, please, stay focused and study these things. Make an effort. This information is there for our benefit. So we should understand what we're discussing. And in this chapter, Krishna's divine manifestations and Krishna's glories are being revealed by Krishna himself. And just by understanding these glories and appreciating these glories and manifestations and Krishna's divine manifestations, we get drawn towards him. Just simply by understanding it and appreciating it. Therefore, it's so important. The first stage is that we hear. Okay? There's some practical tips I'm going to leave you with now. Just a few points and then we're done. We are, in this chapter, Krishna is teaching us how to see the divine in everything. All that is beautiful, and that's how he starts. All that is beautiful, all that we see as being wow, like the mighty Himalayas, to the sacred Ganges. Krishna is behind it all. So in this way, we are trained to see Krishna's hand in every single thing. And therefore, continuous learning is advocated. The more we learn about Krishna, the easier things become. Because that process, that knowledge, that learning of Krishna itself, that knowledge of Krishna is non-different from Krishna. And Krishna specifically imbues his Shakti into that knowledge. So that when we get in touch with that knowledge, we become transformed. We immediately want to surrender to Krishna. We immediately want to render devotional service. We want to worship him. That's the essence in chapter 9. Chapter 9 concludes with, worship me. I am the most worshipable. Chapter 10, dealing with how to intensify that devotion, how to develop and intensify that devotion. Srila Prabhupada has made elaborate arrangements for us to learn continuously about Krishna. There's Bhagavatam class taking place every day. We have now the privilege of online facilities. We can hear a class. We have the books. Speak to your own family members, your children in particular. Because if you don't train them, who is going to train them? Google, the internet, their class teacher, their school friends? No. Social media? Definitely not. So it's up to you. If you're not doing this, you have abdicated your solemn duty and responsibility as a parent. And the first verse in Nectar of Instruction says what? Don't become a parent if you can't free them. If you can't deliver them, you should not become a parent. Don't get married, don't have kids. Unfortunately, most of us passed that stage. We got married and we got kids. So therefore, we're stuck with that now. Now we have to. We have to. Right? So therefore, take the responsible step to read something from Bhagavad Gita and then speak in your own words. Because preaching is what will keep you alive. If you don't preach, you die. And this is preaching movement. Everyone, don't think you don't have capacity. Don't think you don't know enough. Don't think I have to be a big scholar. Don't think I have to know thousands of shlokas. Simply repeat what you have heard and that's enough. Or what you have read, and that's more than enough. Because this knowledge is Krishna. Krishna's Shakti is imbued with this. So you should never feel that you are incapable, and you should never feel that you're not empowered, and you should never feel that you don't know enough. You'll be surprised. You'll surprise yourself. Just do it, and keep doing it. This is an ongoing, continuous process. Because we heard in Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita what happens. They take the pure devotees, not devotees, the pure devotees take great delight in conversing about Krishna and enlightening one another about Krishna. So you have to have knowledge. How are you going to converse about Krishna if you don't know anything about him? How are you going to enlighten one another if you don't have the knowledge, if you're not reading and studying? That's what pure devotees are doing all the time, throughout the universe. That's what's happening in the entire spiritual realm. Okay. This whole chapter is about devotion. How to develop devotion. And like Arjuna, we seek guidance. We should look for guidance. We get guidance from the scripture, we get guidance from the senior devotees, we get guidance from the spiritual master, we get guidance from so many sources. So don't be afraid to ask for guidance. We're never going to know everything. Just be humble and ask for guidance. What you don't know, just ask. And finally, Krishna's empowerment training that says that whatever is in our experience and whatever is in our own world is actually an unfolding of the spiritual reality. But because we have not drawn the connection between each of those aspects of our lives with the original source, Krishna, they remain airy-fairy in the air. They remain disjointed. But once we draw the connection of the link with Krishna, then we become drawn to Krishna. Then our connection with Krishna becomes deeper. This is chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
So, Madhamangal Prabhu, you come every week Sunday. So we'll carry on. So, how many of you enjoyed the class? So just for information purposes, those of you that came late, you must have done some serious nectar. So if you want to get the understanding of Bhagavad Gita, my humble suggestion is please come early, actually. Because if you come late, then you're going to miss 50%. And if you come later, you'll miss 90%. And then like Srila Prabhupada said, sometimes if you come very late, then you'll miss a whole 100% to get it, actually. So please come early. It'll be very helpful. There's some announcements that we want to make. So, Friday is Women's Day. Like I said in the beginning, although it's a very auspicious month, just by one festival it became a little bit more auspicious. Agreed? The Prabhus don't agree. Mataji's? They don't agree either, actually. It's fine. But we have to celebrate it because it's on the calendar. We still have some space if you'd like to register to attend the function on Friday. You can see Priyadarshini Mataji, she's sitting in the back there, if you want to register for that function. I can, from all the conversations I have overheard, that you are getting something valuable for your participation, interest like it. So please take advantage of that. We have our Rath Yatra festival. I see put the Kalash one first, actually. So every year I do this, and people think that, we're trying to them because you already have Kalashas available. What this does is allows you, if you're not second initiated and if you're not serving the deities on the altar, to come within arm's length of the deities, pass your kalas to the pujari, and the pujari will bathe the Lord on your behalf. So that's what this does, actually. So it's not like I'm trying to change the system. I'm trying to give you some opportunity to get closer to Krishna. So if you can, please take advantage of it. It's very limited of it. Many people will take it, but if you want to get closer to Krishna, then please do that. We have a Mahayagya program on the, this is on Janmashtami Day itself, which is the 26th, and this Kalash program is at 9:30 in the evening. We have this Mahayagya program that we are trying to invite. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ki Jai, Shri Nitai Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So indulge me for a few minutes. So this Mahayagya program, we're trying to encourage people from outside to come and participate. So I'll come at how you can help in this program. This will be on the Sunday, the 25th of August, the day before Janmashtami. And the day before that, we have a Rath Yatra function where we're going to pull the chariot, Jagannath Baladev, all the way from Lenham Drive back to the temple, actually. So there's a few temples on the way. There's in Northcroft. There's 3 temples in Northcroft and the New Farm Temple down the road. We're trying to make arrangements with all of them to come and participate, but we require you to put some effort in that conversation, actually. Okay. Then we have Balaram's appearance day coming up on the 19th of August. There are still sponsorships that are available. I thank His Grace Jagannath Puri for sponsoring the feast. He didn't want me to say this, but unfortunately I can't keep secrets. So him and Jai Shri Mataji sponsored the feast for the devotees. And Janava Mataji's outfit for Balaram's appearance day. So there's still a few more sponsorships that are available. If you can assist, we'll really appreciate it. And then we have one exciting piece of news on that day. One of my godbrothers, his name is Krishna Kishore Prabhu, He was my Gomaj's secretary during the last few years that my Gomaj was manifest on the planet, and he'll be here that evening to give the class. He's very, very nice, learned devotee, very humble. When you see him, you'll appreciate him a little bit more than me just explaining about him, actually. But saying that, we are wanting to distribute handbills next week, Saturday, in the North area, and we require all of you to come. There's so many houses, and we can't do it ourselves, actually. Madhumanga Prabhu and Sham Tuti Prabhu, they can't go door to door themselves with a few devotees that they have. So we're trying to get as many people as possible to come. So if you'd like to come next week, Saturday, we want to meet here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then from here we'll go over to Northcroft, and we'll distribute handbills, and we'll come back to the temple. We will make some arrangements for Prashadam. So Shamalati Mataji has very kindly agreed to sponsor all the Prashad for the day. She didn't know about it, I just told her now, actually. No, we'll make the arrangements for Prashad, but we'll probably take it at Mataji's house, actually. So how many of you are interested in helping to distribute handbills, going door to door? Mataji's? Prabhu's? So Bhaktivinoda will take down your details, and you can please make sure that we come next week so we can get. But everybody can come. It's barely simply going to the door, knocking on the door. Here's an invitation for Janma program. You don't have to say anything else, actually. Nothing else is required. And then we have services from Balarama's appearance. They all to Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. There's cleaning and cooking of vets, cleaning and cooking of all the prasadam that we're making for all of you. They set up for the temple in terms of marquees, all the decor arrangements that have to be done. There's serving prasadam, which is really a big consideration that we normally struggle with. And then also making of garlands, decor for the altar for Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, and that's it actually. And then obviously there's kirtan that we're looking for devotees to participate in. So if you'd like to participate in any of these activities, can you please give your name? There's a list of boards at the back there. Whether you want to clean vegetables, whether you want to serve prasadam, whether you want to help with kirtan, whatever you want to do, please tell us what it is that you want to do, that you're enthusiastic and you want to participate in, then we can help you to make that become successful. And in this way, our entire festival can become exciting. We use a budget for this festival, so anybody want to know what it is? You want to know? Don't want to know? No one wants to know, right? Huh? No, nobody wants to know. So I heard one thing this morning that Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentioned in a commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam. He said that first when you come, you give your time to Krishna, just like how all of you are giving your time. Isn't it? But then the next step is that you give your ears, because then you start to hear. The step after that is that you use your tongue and your mouth. What? For chanting and for taking prasad, actually. And so after that, what happens, actually? Huh? Give your stomach. So after that, your heart develops. You become fond of Krishna, because now you have the taste for hearing, you have a taste for chanting, you have a taste for Krishna prasad. Then your heart becomes soft. And then eventually you surrender that heart to Krishna. So how many of you are still parking in that space where you're only giving time? So please advance, like Jagannath Puri was making the point. We want to give our heart to Krishna, actually. Okay? So this festival, the budget that we put together is going to cost us just shy of 300,000 rands. So we want all of you to try and help us by making a pledge of what you can personally contribute, and if you can't personally contribute, what you can try and contribute for Krishna, like that is. Is that possible? Only few people said yes, actually. Now only one person said yes. So please try your best to do whatever you can, and in this way we can try and make this thing successful, actually. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki. Shri Shinitai Gaur Sundar ki. Ko Pramanande. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare. Everybody chant. Hari Bol. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Everybody, put some energy. Chant loudly. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare Nitya Go Haribo 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 Nitya Gora Haribo Nitya Gora Haribo 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath. Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jaya Subhadra, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jagannath Swami Nayan Patagami, Nayan Patagami, Bhava Tume, Jagannath Swami Nayan Patagami, Nayan Patagami, Bhava Jagannath Swami Nayan Patagami, Nayan Patagami, Bhava Tume. 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 O Jagannath Swami Nayan Patagami, Nayan Patagami, Bhava Tume. Jagannath Nayan Patagami, Bhava Tume. O Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. O Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. O Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Nitai Gaura Sundar, Nitai Gaura Sundar, Gaura Sundar. Jaya Nitai Gaura, Nitai Gaura Sundar, Gaura. Jaya Nitai Gaura Sundar, Nitai Gaura Sundar, Gaura Sundar. Jaya Nitai Gaura Sundar, Nitai Gaura Sundar, Gaura. Jaya Nitai Gaura Sundar Nitai Gaura Sundar Gaura Sundar Jaya Nitai Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Gaura Haribo Nitai Gaur Haribo Jayam Vishnupad Parahamsa Prabhuji Sato Sri Srimad. His Divine Grace abides at another Vrinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. ISKCON Samstabhakacharya Srila Prabhupada ki. BBT founder Srila Prabhupada ki. Jayam Vishnupad Parahamsa Prabhuji Sato Sri Srimad. His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Mat Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindi ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Giridhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrindi ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giriraj Govardhan ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki. Shri Nilachal Jagannath Puri Dham ki. Shri Navadip Mayapur Dham ki. Ganga Mai ki. Jamuna Mai ki. Tulsi Devi ki. Bhakti Devi ki. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki. The Lordship Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki. The Lordship Shri Nitai Gaur Sundar ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Go Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So just before you run away, one last announcement. Please don't miss next week Sunday's program. If you do, you'll read about it. But if you come, then you can participate actually. Hare Krishna. Mahaprasade Govinde. Namo Brahmani Vaishnave. Swalpa Punyam Pitam Rajan. Vishvasana Vijayate. Sarira Vidyaja. Joindriya Thayaka. Jiva Phale Visaya Sagure. Taramata Jivati. Lobamoy Surudmati. Takijita Katina Samsare. Krishna Boradoyamoy. Gauri Bada Jiva Jai. Swaprasad Nadilo Bhai. Senamrita Pao. Radha Krishna Gunagao. Prematako Chaitanya Nitai. Jai Nimai. Jai Nitai. Bhagavat Mahaprasadam ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Go Prabhupada. So please remember, as you leave the temple room, there are devotees there that want you to engage in some devotional service, and if you can, please give them your details as to what you would prefer. Hare Krishna.